What's up, guys? Today we're playing Epic 7, and we're gonna go in and kill Episode 3 final boss, Belian. This is a very difficult boss. People have a lot of trouble with it, but it's actually a very easy mechanic, and we're gonna break it down for you today. In fact, we're only using 3-star heroes just to make it a little bit more challenging, but also to display how you can do it using heroes that you would have built already while you're playing the game. So let's go in and we're going to see our heroes first, and then we're going to get into a battle. The first hero that we're going to use today is Montmorancy. Now this is a specialty change hero that you would normally get while you're playing the game. She's useful in a ton of content. I used her a lot when I was doing Labyrinth, all the way through to Hell Raid, and she's really been a fantastic addition to the game. Now she's on basically free gear, and all you have to worry about here is get some defense, get some HP, medium speed, and then put the rest into effect resist. For the artifact, get an artifact with a little bit more healing because her heals are not that powerful. That I use Rod of Amaryllis. You don't want to use something like Celestine because you should pretty much never be using the S1. She's here because she can constantly buff your team with the immunity, but also remove all the debuffs that Belian puts onto you. Next up, we have everyone's favorite hero, Adventure Ras. This is the guy you see running across your screen every single time the game stops working, and he's useful in just a ton of content. You should definitely be building him if you haven't done it already. What we want is just get some defense, get some HP, try and get to 200 speed, and then I would go for 85% effectiveness. This Belian only has 25 effect resist, so you literally only need 10 in order to land your debuffs on the boss, but try and go for a little bit more. That way when you build him later to use in things like Abyss, into your Dagger Sicar challenges, that you really have a decent amount of effectiveness to land your debuffs. What we really want out of Venture Ras is the S2. Because you can soul burn it, you're going to be able to use it every single turn. It brings the dual attack, and also it'll give you immunity so that your back row hero doesn't get stunned, which Belian just loves to do. I don't know why. She loves to stun that back row hero. We're also going to bring Camilla into this fight. She is a light warrior. She starts at 3 stars and has a very low gear requirement. What we like about Camilla is that she has a 50% chance to land a defense break onto her S2. If she has increased attack, she'll also bring a dual attack from the highest ally. She gives herself skill nullifier and she gives herself attack buff. So this means that you can use it to attack buff your damage dealer, then bring it along as well and do damage. Ideally, what you would want out of your Camilla is to put her on Rage Set, give her something around about 85 effectiveness, that way you can use her in other parts of the game. I use her in expeditions and things. She works really well. You can also use her going into Caides, and you want at least 65% effectiveness for that. Then go for damage, but try not to get more than 170 speed. Depending on how you're going to run her in Caides, you might want to have her a little bit slower. Because she has a non-skill attack on her S2, I have her under Border Coin, but it's very forgiving. You can put her onto a ton of different artifacts, anything to help your team do more damage or to live longer, and I think she'll be good. I have found a ton of use for her. I recommend building her if you can, and then really work on her gear as you go. But as you can see, this gear is really not very good at all. These stats are not very good at all, and yet she works very well. I will say that if you soul burn onto her S1, 100% chance to land that defense break. So this means that you can get past the first phase of Belian very easily by either soul burning onto her S1 and then killing, or by soul burning onto Ras, but he only has a 75% chance to land the defense break, so it's a little bit of RNG there, but I do like her. I do like her a lot, and so I recommend building her. And our main damage dealer for this fight is going to be Commander Lorina. I used her a lot. She took me all the way to Abyss 100, and she works out fantastic. Now she's on basically a leftover rage set because I utilize her onto my Caides team, and she does it in about a minute and a half. With Camilla, she does a ton of damage because she's able to get that defense break, but also she's able to get attack buff. And so working with the rage set, it's just exponential amount of damage. She does have a pen set, and this is from Arena, so you can get this in the Arena shop, and it's pretty much available to everyone. If you're going to run her like I do, put her on Daydream Joker. This will help her do a lot of damage. What you really want from her is something like 3,500 to 4,000 attack, 100% crit chance if you can, and 300 crit damage. Anything left over, try and put it into the HP and defense. That way she just doesn't die before she has a chance to go. But we're bringing her with the dual attacks, so it doesn't really matter how fast or slow she is. You don't need effectiveness because she doesn't have debuffs. And effect resist, you probably are not going to need because you're not going to be able to resist this boss anyway. So we're going to go in, we're going to lay down the smack, and we're going to show Belian exactly whose city this is. This boss Belian has 3 phases. In this first phase, all she's going to do is do some damage and bring out the ads. If you kill all the ads and she gets a turn, she's just going to bring more. And if there are any ads when she triggers her next phase, then she's going to lay down some really hard debuffs on you, which can be a little bit crippling. So what we're trying to do in this first phase is we are trying to build up some souls. This is going to help us to trigger the boss, but also to put down more damage if we soul burn on Camilla, or if we're going to be soul burning for Ras. Now what you can do here is you can bring in an AoE damage dealer, something like a Seaside Bellona, you can bring in Landy, you can bring in a lot of different heroes. I even did it with Fire Tenebria, and she worked out fantastic. If you can kill all the ads and trigger her in the next phase, then you won't have to worry about those debuffs. Kind of what I found is that it was very difficult to do. Right here, we triggered the S2 onto Camilla, and what we could have done is soul burn onto Belian, gotten the defense break, triggered onto Camilla, and then gone into it. But you know, when I was doing it, I just didn't think about it, and so it didn't really happen. We're gonna wait one more round, and then we're gonna go ahead and trigger.
Shield does not back down. I'll keep going. That must have been painful.
All right, let's
So
do
here we
this.
go. Now the problem with using Ras here is if you don't land that defense break, that you're not going to do enough damage, and then the boss is going to punish you. So make sure that you do it on Camilla's turn and not onto the on the Ras turn.
I'm ready. I will
Phase
continue my
2
training.
is basically non-existent. It's just a shield that is not very good anyway, and we didn't even need to land a debuff in order to trigger it. Now on to phase 3. This is going to be an issue where she has counter debuff. So we save 2 souls. We are going to take off all of our non-healing and heal up.
Your pain
If you
will-
S1 here with Ras, you might be able to take off this debuff, but really what we want to do is we want to just survive it. Once she gets a turn, that counter buff is not going to be on there anymore, so we're not going to have to worry about it until this hits. We have one more turn for Camilla here before she gets the attack buff, and then she's able to drop down that defense break with her soul burn, and we're just going to do a little bit of damage, no problem. Now what we could do here is we could soul burn, or you could save that soul for Camilla. We get lucky and we get the defense break on the Ras. Like I said, it's going to be a lot better for you to use the Camilla soul burn instead of the Ras soul burn. Beating Belian will open up episode 4, but it also opens up the final destination. When we go into this, we have a very brief story that will also give you magic for friends. This is a 4-star Fire Mercedes artifact that takes her from being sort of an okay unit you might use her sometimes to being a very meta, amazing 5-star unit. So make sure that you come in and make sure that you get this after you beat Belian. Also, don't forget to go into the AP exchange and to get the combat data. This is going to change some of her skills to make her even better. She is great in so many parts of the game, whether you're using her into Abyss, whether you're using her into PvP. I even used her to beat final boss Zio on episode 4, and so it was very great. Don't forget to come in and get these before you move on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give me a like if this video helped you so that other people can find it as well. Until next time, happy hunting and good luck on your battles.